Though the night is long, I will find the strength. Why did you have to leave me here?
The stage lights glowed softly, spreading warmth across the polished floor. The audience settled into their seats, carrying quiet excitement and restless hope. This place had seen countless dreams arrive and countless hearts tremble under the weight of expectation. For Tom Jones, it was another day of judging. Another moment of watching strangers step forward with courage written across their faces. Years of experience had taught him to stay composed, to observe carefully, to protect his emotions behind calm eyes. Yet something in the air felt different. The name was announced, and footsteps echoed gently as a man walked into the light. There was no rush in his movement. No showmanship. He walked as if each step mattered, as if he was entering a space that deserved respect. Daniel Harper stopped at the center of the stage. He stood still for a moment, shoulders slightly tense, hands resting quietly at his sides. His face did not carry the hunger for fame that Tom had seen so many times before. Instead, it held restraint. A kind of quiet humility shaped by years of carrying responsibility. The audience noticed it too. This was not the entrance of someone chasing applause. It felt more like the arrival of someone answering a calling. Daniel's eyes moved slowly across the room. The lights were bright, but he did not squint. He looked grounded, as if his strength came from somewhere deeper than confidence. Tom Jones leaned forward slightly in his chair. Something stirred. It was not recognition. Not yet. It was a feeling. A subtle pull in his chest that made his breathing slow. The posture. The stillness. The way this man seemed present without demanding attention. Time stretched thin. In that moment, Tom forgot the cameras. Forgot the audience. Forgot the role he was meant to play. His mind drifted backward, toward memories he had not touched in years. A sense of familiarity brushed against him like a whisper. Daniel stood alone under the lights, unaware of the storm forming quietly behind the judge's eyes. He carried no expectation, only a silent purpose that anchored him to the stage. And as the room held its breath, life prepared to reveal something neither of them had come expecting. This was not just an audition. This was the beginning of a reckoning between past and present. Tom Jones did not understand it at first. The feeling arrived without warning, settling deep in his chest like a memory asking permission to surface. He had felt many emotions in his life, joy, pride, disappointment, but this was different. This was familiar. He kept his posture steady, yet something inside him shifted. Daniel remained still on the stage, waiting. The quiet between moments stretched longer than usual, and the room seemed to soften around him. His presence carried a gentleness that felt rare in a place built on performance. Tom's eyes traced the small details. The calm expression. The respectful distance. The absence of urgency. It reminded him of a time when music was not about judgment, but about belonging. A different room came into focus in his mind. It was smaller. Warmer. The walls were worn, but the air was full of patience. Children sat quietly with borrowed instruments, learning not just notes, but confidence. And there she was. A woman with kind eyes and tired hands. Always present. Always listening. She believed without needing credit. She stayed long after others left. Evelyn Harper. The memory rose gently, but clearly. Tom felt his throat tighten. He had not spoken her name in years. Life had moved fast, and gratitude had been delayed too long. He blinked slowly, grounding himself back in the present. Daniel stood before him now, a living echo of that kindness. The resemblance was not in the face. It was in the way he carried himself. In the quiet strength shaped by love rather than ambition. Tom felt something warm behind his eyes. Not tears yet. Just awareness. The audience sensed the pause but did not question it. Some moments resist explanation. They ask only to be felt. Daniel shifted his weight slightly, still calm, still patient. He had learned long ago that silence could hold meaning too. Tom Jones inhaled deeply. The memory had awakened. And with it came a realization that this audition was already different from every other one he had witnessed. Something from his past had returned. And it was standing right in front of him. The first note rose gently into the air. It did not rush. It did not demand attention. It moved slowly, like a memory finding its way home. The room shifted the moment the sound filled the space. The audience leaned forward without realizing it. The noise of the world outside seemed to fade, leaving only the fragile thread of music floating between the stage and the seats. Daniel stood grounded beneath the lights. His voice carried restraint rather than force. There was no attempt to impress, no reach for perfection. Each note felt chosen, shaped by feeling rather than skill alone. The melody held weight. It carried long nights, quiet sacrifices, and moments when hope felt thin but never disappeared. This was a voice shaped by listening more than speaking. Tom Jones felt it immediately. The sound moved through him like a familiar path. It brushed against old emotions he had buried beneath years of success and applause. His chest tightened, not from sadness, but from recognition. This was not just a song. It was gratitude given shape. Images surfaced in Tom's mind as the music unfolded. A small room filled with children. An old piano slightly out of tune. A woman guiding young hands patiently, smiling even when tired. Evelyn Harper lived in the spaces between the notes. Daniel sang with stillness, as if he was offering something rather than performing it. His eyes remained steady, focused inward, as though someone important was listening beyond the lights. The audience felt it too. Some closed their eyes. Others held their breath. The song asked nothing from them except presence. Tom's eyes softened. The realization grew heavier with every passing note. This voice did not belong to a stranger. It belonged to a continuation. A legacy shaped by kindness and quiet belief. The music reached its peak not with volume, but with truth. And when the final note faded, it left behind more than silence. It left behind understanding. The final note faded gently into the air. For a brief moment, nothing moved. The silence that followed was not empty. It was heavy with feeling, like a room holding a shared breath. The audience remained still, unsure whether to break it. Tom Jones did not move. His hands rested quietly, but his heart was racing. The realization had settled fully now, no longer a passing thought, but a truth that could not be ignored. This was her son. Time folded inward. Memories surfaced not as images alone, but as emotions. Gratitude he never spoke. Words he never returned. Moments he assumed would always have another chance. His chest tightened. The stage lights blurred slightly as his eyes filled with tears. He did not try to hide them. This was not a moment for composure. This was a moment for honesty. Daniel stood calmly where he was. He did not search the judges' faces. He did not wait for approval. His expression carried peace, as if the act of singing had already fulfilled its purpose. Tom felt a wave of humility wash over him. Fame felt small in this moment. Titles felt irrelevant. What mattered was the quiet woman who believed in music for the sake of healing, and the son who carried her spirit forward without asking for recognition. The audience began to feel it. They could not name what had changed, but they felt the weight of it. Some placed hands over their mouths. Others wiped their eyes without realizing why. This was not a performance being judged. This was a life being acknowledged. Tom Jones lowered his gaze for a brief second, letting the emotion settle. When he looked up again, there was softness there, and something deeper, respect. The circle had closed. Kindness given long ago had returned, not as obligation, but as grace. And in that silent recognition, something within Tom Jones healed quietly. The applause rose slowly at first, then spread through the room like a wave. It grew louder, fuller, yet it felt distant to Tom Jones, as if the sound belonged to another world. He remained still. Emotion pressed against his chest, heavy but warm. Tears rested openly in his eyes now, unhidden and unguarded. This was not embarrassment. It was release. For years, he had stood as a symbol of greatness, of achievement. But in this moment, he felt small in the most honest way. Small before kindness. Small before memory. Daniel stood quietly at the center of the stage. He did not bow. He did not celebrate. He simply breathed, grounded and calm, as if the weight he had carried into the room was finally lighter. The audience watched closely. They sensed that something important had happened, even if they did not fully understand it. This was more than talent. More than television. It was humanity unfolding in real time. Tom Jones felt gratitude surge through him. Not just for the performance, but for the reminder that his journey had been shaped by people who asked for nothing in return. That his success rested on unseen acts of generosity. He felt pride, not the kind tied to fame, but the quiet pride of witnessing love continue beyond loss. The moment stretched. Cameras captured tears, but they could not capture meaning. That lived only in the stillness between breaths. This was not about a decision or an outcome. This was about recognition. That kindness never disappears. That music carries memory. That love, once given, finds its way back. Tom Jones allowed the emotion to settle fully. And in that instant, something inside him changed, not loudly, not dramatically, but forever. The stage, once a place of judgment, had become a place of reunion.